Hey everybody, Midwest Picker here. I'm going to try to avoid the glare. I'm trying to save money by not buying saline for my contacts. I'm wearing the Hugo Boss glasses, but then the glare drives me crazy. So I don't know. I'll just put my head down like this. So this is a what sold video. I'm going to talk about stuff that I sold, and it's kind of funny. Everything in this video, it's one item, and it's stuff I just had laying around the house. So I'm not going to rehash it, but if you go back to episode 78, I talk about, I think the thumbnail said, your rainy day is today, or today's your rainy day. And that's talking about selling stuff that you have laying around the house, stuff that you already own. Video games comes to mind. So that video, check that out. It talks about what to sell, why to sell, my philosophy behind that. I get a little philosophical. And the idea is that people are buying, people are spending money, so now is the time to do that. So in this video, before I talk about what sold, it's kind of funny. It's the small things in life that make me happy. I posted a funny picture to Instagram. Maybe I'll put it up here somewhere. And I don't often do that. My Instagram is mostly bolos, like what I sold and what I paid for it, when I got for it, and stuff like that. I have like 147 followers, I think, and I just started Instagram probably 6 months ago. And most of the people that follow me are resellers. Some of them are family members. And I posted that funny picture, and Taco Stacks commented. He put ha 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 like that, and he thought it was funny. I'll put a picture of that up here somewhere. And he's a heavy hitter. I mean, he is, gosh, I don't know, 200,000 subscribers, something like that. So if you're a reseller, you probably know who Taco Stacks is. If you don't, look him up on YouTube. He's got a great channel. He does everything. He recycles metals and brings it to the scrapyard. He picks trash on the side of the road because he lives in a college town or near a college town. And college kids, when they go back home or they move out of these houses, these rentals, they just throw everything away. And it's DVDs and video games and furniture and just very useful stuff. The trash around me is not like that. It's garbage, it's rotting food. He picks really cool stuff, sells what he can on eBay. If it's a small, if it's bigger, he sells it at the flea market. He's just, all of the above type of reseller. So check out his channel. So coming up right now are 6 items, I believe, that I sold in a couple days. They sold for quite a bit of money, at least, on my scale, because I'm part-time. And by the way, before I get into this again, I keep interrupting myself. My name is Dave. I'm a part-time reseller. I'm a full-time RN, husband, father. I resell part-time. I do YouTube content creation part-time. And I mostly do helpful videos for people new to reselling or new to eBay. So down in the description below, I linked my own videos on how to ship, how to source, how to sign up for eBay the first time, how to research, how to list things. So that'll help you out in your reselling if you're new. If you're not new, it's good review. So it's kind of a long story, but these 6 items I sold are lapel pins from the 1980s. Now these pins are hand cast, hand painted, polished, electroplated in gold. I know because I made them myself. So my dad owned a lapel pin manufacturing business back in the 80s. And we made these pins primarily for like the Lions Club or motorcycle clubs, any organizations. Back in the 70s and 80s, lapel pins were extremely popular. They kind of slowed down a little bit in the 90s, and then they picked back up again. They're popular again. The secret, I guess the kind of the unknown secret, that is the secret, right? Most lapel pins are made overseas, and most of them are mass produced by a machine, stamped out of steel. So the quality is, it's okay. But what we made was more like jewelry. It was almost like costume jewelry. The downside is, back in the day, in the 80s, 84, 85, we wholesaled these at a very high price because they were handmade. So I think it went by the number of colors and the amount of work that went into the pin. We even made 3D pins, so maybe I'll put a picture of a 3D one. So they wholesaled high, $3, $4, $5 a piece, $6 a piece if they were complicated. China and Taiwan and other companies, they could stamp these out by a machine 50 cents a piece, 75 cents a piece. We just could not compete with those prices. Now, some groups preferred the quality that we provided, but you're talking 100 pins is $500, and back in the 80s, that was a lot of money. So sales kind of slowed down to the point we had to close the business. So we did have to close the business, but I was a kid, I was 18. A lot of the broken pins and the defects and the rejects, I kept some of those. So I had a bucket full, and my dad gave me some, and he has some, and I just think today of the thousands of reject pins that we melted down and recycled, or just melted down into lead ingots. So the base metal is lead. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we probably melted thousands of dollars worth of pins, but back then, we didn't think they would have any value. So I have some pins, and considering that, you know what, I'm not doing anything with them. I don't collect them. I don't display them. People have like a sash full of pins or a baseball hat full of pins, and some people are just crazy excited about lapel pins. So I thought, you know what, let's see what happens. I took 2 Corvette pins in a previous video, what sold, put them up on eBay, and within hours, I'm getting messages and offers. People are going bananas. They sold right away. So 2 Corvette pins I sold $25 a piece. Cost of goods is $0 because they're just my personal collection. I couldn't believe I sold 2 pins for $50 to one lady, very nice lady down in Alabama. She owns 7 Corvettes and a lot of Corvette collectibles, and she was thrilled to get them for only $25 a piece. I thought, what's going on here? So I have tractor pull lapel pins, and I have Pac-Man lapel pins. These are all kind of one-of-a-kind custom pins that were not mass-produced in the millions. These are just one-offs, and they're very rare and very hard to get. But they're sitting in a bucket or a box or whatever. They're not doing me any good, and I could use the money. So I sold 2 Corvette pins, and I thought, well, I'm going to list the rest. So I listed basically, I don't know, a third of my collection. I still have a lot more to list that are just kind of one-offs and different things. But as far as monster trucks and tractor pull tractors, I listed them all, and they're selling like crazy. So in 2 days, I sold these 6 pins. So I'll put a picture up here. This one is a lapel pin called... This one is a John Deere tractor pull. I don't know how else to describe it. It doesn't have a particular name for this tractor, but it sold for $35 plus first class shipping on top. The next one is a Farmall tractor pull tractor, or a power pulling, I think they call it, is a technical term. That one sold for $35, first class shipping on top. And these all sold in 2 days. The third one is called Makin' Bacon. It has 4 engines on it. It's a crazy tractor for tractor pulling. That sold for $35 plus first class shipping on top. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't own those. Well, that's fine. But if you're like me and you're kind of a mini hoarder, if you have any items like this from the 70s or 80s, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a packet of pencils if it's new in the package. It can be a Trapper Keeper. It can be a lunchbox. Anything 70s, 80s, nostalgic, new or used. People are buying that. They really like that stuff. So things from the 80s, and it doesn't really matter what, people buy it and they collect it. I just happen to be lucky that these are like jewelry quality lapel pins. If they are, you know, made in Taiwan lapel pins and they're just laying in a drawer in your house, see if you can figure out the age, do a little research on it. There might be a collector out there, especially if it's a Disney lapel pin and it's old. You're probably sitting on a piece of gold and don't even know it. So these next ones are monster truck lapel pins. This one is called King Kong. I experimented with the shipping, so this one sold for $35, free first class shipping. I don't think it affected the sales at all, whether they sold or not, so I'm not doing free anymore. I'm just going to charge shipping because people are happy to pay it. Like I said, this one sold for $35. The next one was called Blown Away. This one sold for $35, free first class shipping. The other nice thing about these little smalls from the 80s is they're super lightweight. I mean, bubble wrap, void fill in a teeny 4x4x6 box, you're talking 4 ounces. So the shipping is super cheap, but then your margins are gigantic. The last one is an ambulance. This was a monster ambulance, I guess, based on the old movie Mother Jugs and Speed from the 1970s. I don't recommend you look this up, and I don't recommend you watch that movie. If you were old enough to remember old Burt Reynolds movies like Smokey and the Bandit and White Lightning and just all these weird action, cheesy movies, I guess, that was one of them, and I guess somebody had a monster ambulance based on that movie, and anyways, it sold right away, $35, free ship. So that's it. That is my short video of what sold. Those 6 items. I made a lot of money in a short amount of time just from stuff laying around the house. So don't discount anything you have that's old. If you have anything from the 70s or 80s in really good condition, especially new, just look them up on eBay. You might be shocked as to what people collect, because they do collect weird things. It could be not just clothing. Of course, vintage t-shirts from the 70s and 80s sell really well. But I'm talking keychains, I'm talking office supplies, just about anything. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If it's your first time here, or you're a regular viewer and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. Then when I post a video, you'll get a notification. Leave comments down below if you have any questions or comments. I love to answer people's questions. And if you go to MidwestPicker.com, that will link you to everything I do, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Mercari, my eBay store. You can check all that out. And my email is down below, so you can shoot me a question. If you have a long question that's too long for the comments, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer your questions too. So that's it, guys. Kind of short, but that's what sold. Hope you liked the video. See you next time.